Respected Principal, erudite resource person of the day, Niveda Martin, acquainted Deputy Controller, enlightened heads of the departments, learned professors. We are delighted for your overwhelming response to contribute your might to fulfill the attainment level of outcome-based education. As we all aware of that, the vision of our college founder, Archalvar Dr. Mahalingam Ayya, is a college is a temple of wisdom, seedbed of character, model of discipline, training ground of democracy, and a nursery of great hearts, strong mind, true faith, and willing hands. Hence, education has a pivotal role in harvesting the available resources to contribute to the prosperity of the nation in general, but in particular about the vision of higher education institutions. Outcome-based education demands walking an extra mile along with the students to reach outcome with designed skill sets and minimum required outcome from the students to meet out global competencies with well-designed curriculum framework, holistic approach in teaching and learning, which includes experiential learning and participatory management to reach academic excellence, which augment employment and self-employment opportunities through entrepreneurial intent skills. Keeping this view in our mind, to complete curriculum framework, assessment, and attainment, which are the three important components of outcome-based education, we have organized this webinar, Faculty Development Program on Appraisal of Learning Outcomes in Outcome-Based Education. I deem it a pride and privilege to bring to your kind notice that our curriculum is well framed, assessment pattern also well designed, and the attainment level needs to improve further. That's why we have invited Dr. Niveda Martin, who has diversified skills such as well preparation, exemplary presentation, and analyzing the content with remarkable insight. With these introductory remarks, I would like to invite our principal to present a formal welcome address to this elite forum.
Thank you, Muthukumaran, Dr. Muthukumaran. Good morning to all. I welcome you all to this FTP program on appraisal of learning outcomes in OBE, organized by Office of the Controller of Examinations today. Today's resource person is Dr. Niveda Martin, Assistant Professor Mathematics, Arulanandar College, Karumathur, Madurai. Welcome, madam. She has 8 years of research experience and 5 years of teaching experience. She has received Best Paper Presentation Awards from Gandhigram University, Tindukkal, Bishop Giver College, Tiruchi, Holy Cross College in Tiruchi. She presented a paper on analysis of the risk factor of Ebola virus using fuzzy vigor with the possibility theory at Kuala Lumpur and received Best Paper Presentation Award. Under JRF scheme, she has done a major project, a study of fuzzy inventory models. She has published 3 books and more than 80 research articles in international journals, which are indexed in Web of Science, Scopus, UGC Catalyst. She has completed many courses offered by NPTEL. She has delivered lectures on OBE in many colleges and universities. During this lockdown period, she has acted as resource person in many programs organized by various institutions. She has released more than 30 video lectures on various topics, mainly related to mathematics. We feel glad that she has got rich experience even in this young age. I also thank Dr. R. Muthukumaran, Controller of Examinations, who has arranged this FTP. I also welcome all the HODs and faculty members and the participants to this program. Outcome-based education is an educational theory that bases each part of an educational system achieved goals, that is outcomes. By the end of the educational experience, each student should have achieved the goal. OBE mainly focuses on developing life skills, basic skills, professional skills, and vocational skills. Intellectual skills, interpersonal and personal skills, etc. Now, I welcome you all to this program. இந்த ப்ரோக்ராமுக்கு நமது கல்லூரி பேராசிரியர்கள் அனைவரும் கலந்து கொண்டு இந்த பயிற்சியை பெறுவதற்கு கல்லூரியின் சார்பாக என்னுடைய வாழ்த்துக்களையும் மகிழ்ச்சியும் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றேன். ஒரு மாணவன் கல்லூரிக்குள் நுழைந்ததிலிருந்து அவன் தன்னுடைய வாழ்க்கையில் சிறப்பான ஒரு வெற்றியை பெறும் வரை கல்வி திட்டம் பயன்பட வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் ஓபியினுடைய அடிப்படை நோக்கம். அந்த நோக்கத்தை நிறைவேற்றுவதற்காக நமது கல்லூரியினுடைய தேர்வு கட்டுப்பாட்டுத்துறை இந்த FTP புரோகிராமை தொடங்கி இருக்கின்றார்கள். அவர்களுக்கு மீண்டும் ஒரு முன்னுடைய வாழ்த்துக்களையும் நன்றியும் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றேன். வெல்கம் மேடம் மார்டின், நிவேதா மார்டின் மேடம். வெல்கம் மேடம்.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your warm welcome. And I'm so happy to act as a resource person for this WebDP on appraisal of learning outcomes in outcome-based education. At the very outset, first of all, I'd like to register my sincere gratitude to the convener of this program for giving me a chance to address such a learned community through this online platform. And now everyone is well aware of the outcome-based education. So I think that directly I can move on to the topic. So now we are going to see something about called appraisal of learning outcomes in outcome-based education. So as we all know that why this outcome-based education has stepped into the higher educational institutions. So we have a history of it. So as we all know that Washington Accord, it is an international signatory body, and it has been introduced mainly to the professional courses, especially the engineering. Suppose in case that an Indian engineer wants to work in America, so he wants to feel that what graduation he has got from India is equal to that of the American graduate in engineering stream. So that's why they have established such an international agreement board there. And since India is a signatory body, we got this OBE incorporated into our educational system, mainly for the engineering colleges. I can say that the engineering colleges are the forefathers for our OBE. So it is mainly for doing the purpose of an accreditation. Hello, ma'am. பேசுறதே கேட்கலையா? But கேக்குதுல ma'am? You're able to hear me?
Ma'am, okay, can proceed.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I'll sit with it.
It's clear, ma'am.
Yeah. So now, ma'am, is it okay? Fine. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You are clear.
Okay. Okay. Then I shall continue. I shall continue.
Please.
Yes. So now, sorry for the inconvenience. And now, as we all know that we have this NBA Board of Accreditation mainly for the engineering colleges, and it has been introduced in 2014. So right from that, all the engineering colleges have started to adopt this OBE into their system. And now UGC was looking for it, and it has again incorporated this outcome-based education in the name of LOCF, that is the Learning Outcome-Based Curriculum Framework. And now NAC is actually using us as one criteria for our accreditation thing, and it has been started to implement from the year 2018. And we, the Arlananda institution, we started to adopt in the year 2019-20 academic year. But as you see, you'll be wondering why we need such an outcome-based education system. Why can't we just follow the actual going system with it? So why we need a transition? So that will be our ultimate question. But then we are always having a merits for this outcome-based education. So we'll just have a quick run over it. So what is the speciality of the framework of OBE syllabus, and what is the earlier framework of syllabus what we are following it? So the outcome-based education is highly learner-centric, and it has a lot of professionalism, attitudes and tasks. So as Principal Sir was rightly telling something related to the skills and the development of it, and of course these outcomes are acting as like a performance indicators for us. But in the earlier syllabus, what we are practicing, we are teacher-centric. So we don't have the word outcomes on. We just start and end with objectives and we move on with it. And now here, in outcome-based syllabus, we have a goal-oriented. We are just knowing what we are going to achieve it. So what is the direction that we are going to institute or channelize our institutions in that way? And this OBE, it is very highly flexible. It is giving a high liberty to the teachers to design their teaching and learning methods. And I can say that your outcomes are going to set a benchmarks. So you can judge whether what your curriculum is good or not, and what you are just practicing is for the betterment of the student community or not. But here in the earlier syllabus, we just have only the vision and mission with which we start running onto it. And then we stick on to the conventional methods. We don't have any space for a modern tools of teaching and learning at all. And it is not judgment based. And also your outcomes is acting as a guide for assessing. This is very much important, where we are and what we are. So what else we are doing it and what else we can do it to achieve all our goals. So here your outcomes will be acting as a guide for your assessment. And here your outcomes can be measured. So once if you are able to measure something, then you can able to enhance it and you can make your curriculum planning also to be very good. So this is about OBE. So directly I can say that OBE has a lot of advantage. OBE is mainly dealing with outcomes. So if I'm doing one particular aspect, what is the outcome of it? And whether I can enhance the outcome or not, or whether the outcome is up to my expected level or not. So these are the aspects we are going to discuss with the outcome-based syllabus. So before going into the preparation of the syllabus with the OBE, we need to know what are the elements that should be covered. The very first one is the program educational objectives, followed by program outcomes, then program specific outcomes and course outcomes. So these four are going to play a vital role in your syllabus if you are telling that your syllabus is based on OBE. And now, as I mentioned earlier, the engineering colleges are really the forefathers, and no one has devised a unique model and a global model or a universal model for OBE. Actually, AICT, it has itself given us the program outcomes. So nearly 12 program outcomes have been already given to the engineering colleges. So they do not worry about the program outcomes. And your program specific outcomes, it is going to vary from department to department. So by 2 in number. So let me tell you what is the program is actually. So our entire BSc or BA 3-year program, you call that as a program. And I just want to mention one thing. Exclusively, this OBE is designed only for the undergraduate professionals. Still, even it has not taken to the post-graduation level. So it is only focusing on the undergraduate professional courses are there. And now we are going to focus. So based on that only, we are going to incorporate and customize for arts and science stream. Because since UGC or NAC all are insisting us to get along with this OBE system, so there is no other go. We have to incorporate into our educational system and into our curriculum, and we want to get enhanced with that. So now let me just tell you what is program education objectives. So already every institution will be having their vision and mission, no doubt. So what will be their vision is actually what they want to do with, and mission is how they are going to do it. So one will be action oriented, one will be in static, and one will be in dynamic. So one will be in a long time to go, and what are the steps to achieve it. So this is what we will be having it. And now we are going to frame a program educational objectives. So what is the program here is your BSc. So it is a 3-year program. Now what is the intention of having a BSc program in your college? So that has to be reflected under your program educational objectives. And now this seems to be a little broad and comprehensive in nature. And what are the aspects it should cover? So it should cover about the skills that what a student is going to get out of it, and what are the employment and entrepreneurship opportunities are going to make available to him at the end of his graduation. So all those things must be projected, and it must also follow a similar pattern with your vision and mission, because every institution has its own vision and it shows what is the main purpose of its existence. And now coming on to the program outcomes. So program, again it is a BSc or a BA 3-year program. So after completing, what he is going to get. So that is the thing about the program outcomes. Now we will be telling, no, if you are going to enroll your children as a student or as a graduate of a college, and then definitely they will be placed, employments are there, he will be going for the other jobs are there, and so many added advantages are there. So these are the things we are going to tell, and we are going to check whether these are attained or not. And now what is the program specific outcomes? So this has to be designed by the department. So what is the specialty with the BSc Mathematics at your college? And what is the specialty of BA History with your college, or BA Economics with your college? So what is the specific outcomes he is going to get? And now your ultimate aim will be, you want to make the student to achieve or to make him to acquire the program outcomes and the program specific outcomes. So how can you make to do it? So 3 years he is going to invest his time in your college. So it all depends on the courses that you are offering at the each semester. So now no, we are going to rule out the word called paper or subject. We are going to use the word called course. So course means it is equivalent to the term that we have used in the earlier way called subject or paper. So whatever outcomes a particular course is giving, that has to contribute to the program outcomes and program specific outcomes which you have designed earlier, which you are expecting. So these are the components and OBE syllabus must have it. So let me just recapitulate once again. So your program educational objectives must be broad enough, and it focuses on your 3 years of UG program. And again, your program outcomes will be reflecting what is the effect of completing it. After completing, what are all the things he will be acquiring. Your program specific outcomes is related to your department. And course outcomes are related to after completing each course. That is after completing 5 units, what is going to get. And now you will be having a lot of queries in your mind arising. But I'll just like to give it. Maybe I guess these may be your queries. Who has to design? Who has to design your program outcomes, or who has to design the program specific outcomes? So now, what the things you can do it is, your program education objectives, your program outcomes can be designed by the college as a whole. So who can be the participants in that? So your principal, your management, you have the departments, and also you can welcome the people who are having an MOU with you from the company side, because they are the one who is going to expect what type of employees they need, because today graduates, they are the future employees. So what is their expectation? Some alma mater also can be included into that committee, so that you can be having a comprehensive program education objectives and program outcomes. And your program specific outcomes can be done exclusively by your department. And sometimes there is also a lag like this. You can also go with the program outcomes designed by the department itself. If you are going to go in that way, you don't worry about your program specific outcomes, because your program specific outcomes, it is equivalent to your program outcomes if it is going to design by the department. If the college is going to design, let the department take up PSO, that is the program specific outcomes, or else it can continue with the program outcomes. And now something we are LOCF, no, that is Learning Outcome Curriculum Framework. We are focusing on the graduate attributes. So your program outcomes, what it must reflect. As Principal Sir was rightly telling about the skills, if you are just look at all these graduate attributes, communication is a skill, critical thinking is a skill, problem solving, analytical reasoning, research related. So many skills are being related here, and these are the essential things. So whatever courses you are offering, it has to make them to acquire all these attributes, starting from knowledge to lifelong learning. So accordingly, you have to just keep your courses, and you are in a position, since you have the autonomous advantage, you can design your own courses and you can benefit the student community. Now this is the explanation for each and every attribute, but let me share the PPT with you so that it will be easy for you to go ahead. So need not spend much time on these things. And now let me move on to the syllabus structure. I like to take a model and explain you. See, this is our college and this is, I belong to the Department of Mathematics. So don't worry, I will go with a science stream and art stream also. And now this is the syllabus what we are constructing before the advent of OBE. So we had the objectives, we had the content, we had the books for study and books for reference. So why did I say that the earlier syllabus is teacher oriented? So objectives. So audibly we say that the aim of this particular course is to make the student. So you will be telling from your point of view. Okay, the student, to make the student understand, to make them to acquire much knowledge, to make them to apply. So all those things we will be telling from the teacher's point of view. And we never checked whether they have applied or not, whether they have understood or not. And now you may again ask a question, we are conducting test, then what? So though you are conducting a test, it is not going to give you a unit-wise achievement. Because in each unit, you are telling something you are going to achieve. That is something you have an objective from each unit. So whether each objective pertaining to each unit has been fulfilled or not. So it is not actually known to it. So what shall we do with? So now this is actually the framework of OBE syllabus. And now this is the program educational objectives, the program outcomes and program specific outcomes here. Now what are the program educational objectives? So now you have going to start with some broad 2 or 3 points, and you are going to tell why this particular syllabus is being there. So why you are going to have such a program. So that has to be reflected. And then you will come to your pattern. So we do follow a CBCSE pattern only, a choice-based study system. So there is no change with that. Along with that, we are going to have the OBE. And now this is the thing. This is actually the syllabus formulation for the same course, but with respect to actually your OBE. So I have an objectives, I have the content, I have the books for study, I have the books for reference. So teaching and learning methods, these are the new things. So what are the course outcomes and what is the rubrics? That is the mapping that we are going to make. And now this is very much important. So I am going to make a course outcome. I am going to make so many new things are there. So I need a base. Based on what I want to go ahead, because outcome, it is being assessed based on your cognitive dimension. So your cognitive domain is given much focus here, starting from the lower level to the higher level. So remembrance to creativity. So there are 6 levels of knowledge are there. So we have remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating and creating. But for undergraduate, it is enough if your theoretical papers are focusing to till K4 level. And if you have a project, if you are going to have some lab or practicals, it may have to go till K6 level. So you have this particular threshold. So then it will be easy for you. Now we are following the revised one. So you are supposed to know what is actually. See, we are not focusing creativity in the Bloom's taxonomy. Okay. But now in the revised one, we are giving more importance to creativity. As you know that now it is a buzzword. Wherever we go, what is the creative, what is the innovative, we start asking it. Even if you write a research article, the immediate first thing, what is the innovation in that? What is the new thing in that? So always we have a craze towards a novelty. So we are going at the back of it. So still, even we want our students to be the creative learners, for which we are supposed to be creative teachers. So creativity is gaining more momentum nowadays. And now let me come to this model, what I'm having for a college, as an example, I'm just telling you. But this is not the exact, this is a model. If you go to other institutions, they have their own educational objectives. But we have formulated our education objectives based on our vision. So actually ours is a rural based institution. We always focus on the transformation of rural community. So that is the ultimate aim. So now, as I said before, your program education objectives must be focusing on your skills, and it must be focusing on your employability and entrepreneurship, because that is the need of the hour. Because I can say that education and your employability are at two poles are there. So education institutions are having the greater responsibility to bridge both. So because we have so many jobs available in the job market, but we cannot go ahead with the same old fashioned syllabus because it makes our students unfit to be as an employee of that particular job. So jobs are amply coming here. Now you see that AI, IoT are gaining more important. So data scientists, data analysts are there. So how can we enrich our syllabus? How can we go ahead with the new courses supporting to the student community? So always we have to be dynamic in nature. And these are our program education objectives. So we are focusing on the skills and focusing on the entrepreneur employability. And we didn't forget our vision. So our vision is actually the transforming the rural community. So we want to customize all the contemporary technologies to the rural welfare. So that is our ultimate vision. So we never step down from it. So just because OBS comes into picture, we cannot leave out the thing from where we have started it. So that is our root cause. So we are just moving around with the same things, but taking more things together. So we are taking OB also together, and we are working in the same way. Now these are the program outcomes. So in our college, we have designed a very common program outcomes for both your arts as well as our science stream. So we have all the 8 outcomes. It is mainly focusing on our program outcomes, both for arts and science. So first one is disseminating and demonstrating the knowledge. You have the comprehension. We have the spirit of cooperation. I'm going to apply the obtained knowledge, create a favorable ambience for higher degree. So research related skills, analytical skills, communicating the skills, conceptualizing the creativity. So if I'm going to go through all the 8 outcomes, they will be having a shadow of the graduate attributes. So all those graduate attributes we have put into this 8 outcomes. So now it is in your own hands. I think I can say the ball is in your court. You are going to design whether the program outcomes commonly for an institution, or whether for arts stream separately or science stream separately, or you are going to go ahead with the department wise. So it all depends on you. So everything is correct. Either an institution is taking the whole charge of formulating or leaving it to the department. It depends on the institution. And now we have the practice of having a common program outcomes, and we thought that the program specific outcomes to be specific for the department. Now I have 5 program specific outcomes, and this is going to be specific for the Department of Mathematics. So I'm going to say that what are the outcomes the student will be getting after completing BSc Mathematics, that is 3 years from our institution. That is from Arlanandar College. So these are the 5 are there. And now these things will never have a replication of your program outcomes. It must not be a replicate. It can have a shadow of it, but not simply a duplication of it, because it's again a repetition. So even you are going to use the same words, because we want to have a match with your levels of knowledge. There is no wrong. But then the way you are putting, the way you are formulating it must be different. So this is how you differentiate your program specific outcomes with that of your program outcomes, if at all, if you are going to have a differentiation like that. And now, this is how the objectives we have formulated, and this is how to formulate the outcomes. If you are going to go ahead, they will be same, but they differ still. A thread difference is there. Now in objectives, you will be telling to make the student recall the concept. So you kindly ignore whatever follows after the action word. So recall anything. It can be a concept of a concept of marketing, concept of economics, a concept of financial thing, or it can be anything. So you can go with so many aspects. Maybe a historical aspect can be. It can be something about your botany or zoology, if at all you have such programs. It can be a BBA program, management. So it can be anything. Whatever you recall, you recall it. So don't worry about what follows after recall. But we use the common word called recall, apply, establish, generate, solve. So these are the common words that we use for objectives. But then we stop the syllabus. We move on to the 5 units. But now, no, you are going to write some outcomes are there. Now, your aim is to make the students recall and examine something. You're going to do that. So whether they are able to recall or not, whether they are able to do your expected objectives, whether it is fulfilled or not, that is very much important. Now, no, you will be telling that the students will be able to, yes, they will be able to state and apply the different types of inequalities. Again, I'm telling, don't worry about what they're going to do, but what they do. It is state and applying. So they are doing stating, they are doing applying. Don't worry what they are stating, what they are applying it. So we'll worry about the actions nowadays. Now explain, examine, relate, solve, determine. So these are the things they will be doing it. So now these are the outcomes of each unit. So after a unit, after you take a unit, after you complete a unit, you are telling that the student will be able to do these things. Okay. And you're recalling us before taking the unit. So you are telling that the students, no, I want to make them to recall. So this is actually during your teaching process, it is doing it. You are making them to recall, you do all those things. So this is their outcome is after completing. Okay, it is a post one. So after completing, what the student will be able to do it and whether they are able to do it or not. So these outcomes you are telling after completing your units. So you have 5 units are there. So definitely you should write 5 outcomes. And now this is how. Now I have given state and apply, explain, examine, relate, determine, and I have fixed the knowledge level. And now first one I am given K3. Again K3, K4. See, it doesn't mean that first unit should focus on K1. Second unit should focus on K2. So it is not possible, no? Especially with the mathematics professors will duly agree it. Do we think that all the units what we have deals only with the knowledge level? We don't apply any formula or results? No, it's not so, no. We start applying the things. So whenever you start applying something, when you start solving something, it means that you are doing the aspects in the application level. That is, you go to the K3 level. So if you are going to go with the K3, it means that without remembrance, without understanding, no, you can never go to the 3rd level because it is sequential, no. You cannot skip one level and you cannot exercise another level. It is quite impossible for us. So you always go with the level by level. So that is very important here. And now you are going to just say about to which level. So I am telling K3, K4 and these 2 levels are there and how you are telling it. So other question will be coming, how specifically you are telling it. Now if I am telling I am going to take the students to the analyze level, it means that they have applied it. So they have completed the level of application and then they have stepped into the your analyzing level. So this is very much important here. And now these are the action words. So now you are going to use some words, make your outcomes look good. So always instead of using the routine words, no, you can use so many words are there. Now these words will be acting as your question verb. So whatever verb you are using here to assess your outcomes, and you will be telling that the same thing you can use in the question also to just check whether your outcomes are being attained or not. And again I am telling, these are not the only words, these are the words. There are so many words are there. But it doesn't mean that we have to use all the words. Whatever words are applicable to you, you can use it. Whichever words are applicable to different streams, you can do it. So quote, so identify or memorize or recite. Recite is a word exclusively used by the English professors. You recite it, okay? And you quote. So something are very common. So solving is exclusively meant for mathematics. So they solve the problems. So if at all you have some mathematics courses in your program, you will be using. So exclusively it is used for mathematics. So these are some common terms are there. So they have been used by the respective departments especially. And now these are the applying, analyzing, evaluating and creating. So this is how it goes. And now this is the rubrics. Now this is the thing you are going to formulate the rubrics here. Now listen, kindly just pay your attention more here. See, after completing your 3 years, you are telling that your student will be having a good knowledge, they'll be able to communicate well, they will be acquire some employability skills, they will be having the reasoning skills. Okay, they will, but what makes them to acquire? So these are the courses. So you are telling no, each outcome. So I'm telling that CO1, CO2, CO3, they are the outcomes after each unit in the course what we discussed just now. We have discussed 5 units and we have discussed about the 5 outcomes. So those 5 outcomes, no, I am going to map with the program outcomes and program specific outcomes. So I am not going to use the linguistic variable like a strong, medium and low, because if I use the linguistic variable like that, I cannot go for mathematical computation, because I want to go for computation not with the variables. So now what is important thing is I want to quantify my variables. If you feel that it is strongly correlated, if you feel that it is moderately correlated, give 2. If you feel that it is slightly correlated, you give 1. Because instead of using the word low, you can say the word slight. It is a little modest. And one more thing, don't ever try to fill this rubrics, that is we call this as a matrix. Don't ever try to fill all the entry, all the cells with the values. It must not be too clumsy, and at the same time it must not be too sparse also. So whatever match exactly you do it, because this is not the only course you are offering in one semester to your students. This is one of the courses. I hope you can come to the point what I'm trying to say it. See, maybe I can tell this core paper 1. Core paper 1 is not the only course no you are offering to your students in the first semester. You offer English, you offer Tamil, you offer allied papers, you offer elective papers, sometimes you go with other COC papers, something, so many things are there. So you let us give opportunity for every papers also, no? Let them fulfill. Now core papers cannot fulfill some of the outcomes, don't worry. Mathematics paper, I cannot teach them teamwork. I cannot go with the cooperation skills. I cannot teach about the responsible citizenship, ethical responsibilities. What can I do for the society? I cannot introduce that in the core paper. Because core paper is exclusively meant for enriching your analytical reasoning, not about your aspects regarding that is your moral values. It is something about the cognitive. It is not about the social values. Now, if you are going to have a foundation course, if you are going to have a value education paper, then that will focus on your ethical values, and ethical social values also will be there. So that will be focusing much on your responsibilities. So each courses has its own advantage, and of course it fulfills certain outcomes and it doesn't fulfill certain outcomes. So we cannot devise a course which fulfill all the outcomes, and that is not our task also. So now I hope you can able to come and grasp what I'm trying to say it. Don't fill all the things, not essential at all. Now, no, let me tell you, now I have just given this one, your CO1, I like to explain the first row alone. Now state and apply the different types of inequalities. So this is my course outcome. Now I have matched with the PO1, PO5, PO6. I have given 3, 2, 3, okay. But I have taken PO4 also. Look at my CO1. CO1 is in the K3 level. It means that I want to applying. You are going to apply something, the acquired knowledge. Look at the first one. Without a knowledge, you cannot apply. So definitely the knowledge is acquired. So I can give 3 points to it. PO4 is also applying. It's not wrong. But look at what it is applying. Assessing social, economic, legal, cultural, no way at all. Algebra, trigonometry, I cannot apply it for assessing economical or legal or cultural issues. No. Though it is having an apply, it is not the knowledge what I am applying out of the core paper. It is out of the another papers, maybe like as I said before, the value education, the environmental papers, something you are going to deal with such value education, no? Because those things are also very essential. So this is very much important. So this is what I am trying to say. So different type of inequality, definitely algebra and trigonometry, they have an extension with a higher degree. The inequalities especially they do have in for the post graduation or some other papers also we have it. Analytic and reasoning problem solving skills, yes of course we have it. So accordingly I have given the mapping here. Now again it differs. Now as a faculty of mathematics I can give these values. My head of the department won't accept these values. And now again there will be a clash, a difference of opinion. Then what can be done at that time? Sit together. It's a teamwork. This is not a result of a single individual's perspective. This is actually a combined perspective of all together as a department, because too many persons, when they're involving in the decision making of giving this average, will be so concrete and comprehensive in nature. So I am the faculty course in charge. Some of my senior faculties might have handled this paper, that is this particular course. My head of the department is a senior most fellow, so definitely you'll be having a quite wider aspect in that. So why can't you constitute a team like this and sit together and check out the values? So this will be giving you a very comprehensive and optimality results here. So this is how you are going to do it. Now this is the way I done with the CO1. Now this is with the PSOs. See, program specific outcomes are highly related to mathematics. So definitely core paper will be having a lot of affiliation and affinity towards these program specific outcomes without no doubt. And now look at this. My PSO1, all I'm giving 3. But PSO2, PSO4, I have not given it because I am not taking to the analyzing or evaluating level, because it's only an application level. And I'm not going to construct or create something. Just I'm going to understand the problem, use the respective inequalities and apply it and get the result. That's it. I'm not going to do any analyzing or evaluating, nothing. So it purely depends here. So PSO1, PSO3, PSO5. So till this only, no, I can have the mapping to the maximum extent because it is a core paper. I have to give to the maximum extent. So strongly it is correlated. Now let me move on to the history. So actually Sir was sharing your program outcomes and specific outcomes pertaining to the Department of History and Mathematics. So Department of History has come out with the program outcomes and program specific outcomes. So actually your program specific outcomes are very good because you are able to tell exactly what a history student will be acquiring at the end of the 3 years of his BA program. So fine, it is very good, but little bit of improvisation is essential. Let me tell, because I feel that that is quite common everywhere. So this is a course title I have taken. It is the history of India up to 647 AD. So what is the course objective? It's very good because you have given a very broad objective. So to know the political and social history of India and learn the quality of sympathetic imagination. So it's very well written, the course objective. But look at this course outcome. Okay, remembering, understanding, analyzing, and recollecting. You have given 5 units, but you have given only 4 outcomes. So kindly make it as 5. 1 outcome for each unit. So you have 1 for 1. And what are the changes I have made? See, I have just modified it. See, remembering is fine. But instead of doing just a remember now, Indus Valley Civilization, he will be able to describe many things. Describe also comes under K1. There is no wrong in that. Again, instead of having putting the core word itself like remember, understand, you have so many words. You can explain the historical invasion of Alexander. He'll be explaining how he is able to invade the reigns, invade the emperors, and all those things you can do it. And now K3, no? Look, analyze the word is there, but it is coming under K3. Analyze is K4, but the knowledge level is K3. So what can you do with? So when I was just looking at the syllabus, no, in the unit 3, so many Guptas were there. So Gupta 1, 2, 3. So definitely, no, you will be having a comparative analysis between the emperors of different ages of Gupta. So Gupta period, when you are having so many emperors, no, you will be comparing. So which emperor have done so much of developments or during which period? So you will be comparing. So K4, you can take the same level there, K4, but you can use the word compare. So you can discuss. So CO4, no, again it is coming something about the culture of the Gupta period. So you'll be having a discussion and with K to K2 level and examine. So it is again you will examine how the society and culture of Guptas and I think it is Satavahanas, and you will be able to examine. So examine you take to the K3 level. Now look at how your course outcomes have taken a glow. So it has been having a new words like describe, explain, compare, discuss, examine. So look, it has received some glow. And now when this glow is there, you are going to transfer this glow to your students. That's it. Now, you have the specific outcomes. So I like to map with your specific outcomes. So these are the things. You have your course outcomes and specific outcomes. So I have given this mapping. So degree of correlation, low, moderate and high. Let me just check it out. How CO1 is given 2, 1, 3 for PSO2, PSO4. What is my CO1? Salient features of Indus Valley civilization. So Indus Valley civilization, so many aspects are there. So PSO2. So you will have a background of understanding about the enrichment of Indian spirit through the ages. Because so many ages, so many years back we had the civilizations and still we are having it as a shadow of it only. So we have 2. So PSO4. Different ages. So bygone era it is. So definitely 3. So historical invasion of Alexander. Definitely no heroic qualities. You know, Alexander is known for his braveness and is known for his kingship and all those things. So the heroic qualities, the leadership. So definitely when you're going to have that as your specific outcome, then I can give 3 here. Then again PSO2, everything, because you have the spirit, the political and social history, and then sympathetic and patriotic, but I don't think that you will have patriotic anywhere to be included, because we are not going to talk something about the Indian independence, what is the particular things. So they are just focusing much on their own culture and socialization, administration, art and architecture. Only these many things will be focusing much. Rather than patriotism, we focus much on these aspects. So I felt that, see, myself being this is what I got it. According to my point of view, I got it. But I'm not saying that this is correct. But again, it has to go along with the checking with the professors of history together. So as a department, let them sit together and let them feel whether it is correct or wrong, or otherwise, there is no point of having us wrong here, because that is my perception. But now as a professor of history, he or she will be giving a more comprehensive way. So that is very much important. So you go for the optimality. So I'm just telling you how to do it. Irrespective of arts or science, procedure is one and the same. With your course outcomes and with your program specific outcomes, you can go for a mapping with a little bit of knowledge of that particular course. So this is what altogether about the thing. And now I like to give a quick run of how to go with the question pattern. I think you have very well set question pattern, because as sir was giving, you have also the same thing beautifully with the objectives and all those things. But I am not sure whether you are going for such a pattern like either or choice. Because no, in section B, I'll tell you in a nutshell what is that is. Say we have 2 internals, because you people also are autonomous, you'll be having 2 internals. The first internal we go with 2 units, 2 full units. So 2 internals, 2 units. So 1 unit, no, it can be any unit, but that unit we are going to leave in a different way of assessing, but we will be taking that unit. We will be taking, handling the unit will be taken, but assessing is not with the examination. Okay, it is not with the internal mode. We go with the different assessing techniques are there. So we are using so many other way of assessing them. And now no, we give equal priority to equal units. So if I take section B, I have taken 4 questions. So 2 questions from one unit, 2 questions from another unit. So we are giving more choice for the students. So look at here also, we are giving the internal choice. So this sounds the same for all the things. Now this is our individual internal scoring sheet. I think this will be pretty clear. So look at this one, no? This for a sample I have given here. So we have unit, whichever unit the teacher will be circling it. How many sections? So for each unit, what is the mark he has scored under section A, section B, section C. So some departments are having 4 sections, some are having 3 sections. So it depends. Now this is the internal scoring sheet. So after completing all the internals, 2 internals and 1 individual assessment, I go with such way. So unit 1, what is the total marks? So this total marks, what he will be getting here. Unit 1 total marks will be there. So this will be coming under here, the unit 1 total marks. So I just go with each one like this. This is the individual external scoring sheet. So we have such a pattern. So questions are there. We convert into 50. and final external scoring sheet, because we have it for each unit. Now look at this one. Unit 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are taking for the units here. This is the external one, and here comes the assessment tools. So CO1, that means that my unit 1, I am going for internal and external. Unit 2, again internal 1 and external. Unit 4 and 5 are internal 2. Unit 3, I am going for an assignment and external examination. Assignment now is here a generic term. Simply we won't give an assignment and ask them to submit. No, it's not like that. To give a generic term, we are given as an assignment. So it can be any mode. And I used to conduct some lot of seminars, and they'll be giving some practical work. Maybe we had in a linear programming. We just start to give about a unit there and make them to collect a real-time data and ask them to submit as a project work. So we're done with the teamwork and then make them to present it individually. Okay, so this is what how the assessing. So as a faculty, you have the liberty. You can design your own assigning methods, and you can get along like that. And what can be the measuring course outcomes? So this is the most important part we have to focus it. You want to attainment level. So you have having an expected course outcomes, and you have an expected matrix. Now we want to check whether your expected meet out the reality or not. So again 1, 2, 3. So if your 50% of students are able to score 50% and more marks, then you can say your attainment level is 1. And if it is 60%, you can have it as 2. 70% of students are going to score 50% and more marks is 3. So 1 point. Now we will have a doubt with the pass percentage. Nothing to do with the pass percentage. 40% if a student scores no, he is passed. So that is the entry for him to graduate. All that will be going as usual, no interference. But this is for your assessing the effectiveness of the courses that you have placed in your semesters. Because out of all your efforts, we are designing the course, we are putting it in each semester, and we have a run through it. We are going to check whether the courses are effective or not, whether the courses are able to or enabling or assisting you to make you to achieve your program outcomes. For that only, we are having a threshold value. We have set a range like 50% and more marks. I am having the same threshold value for external, internal and assignments. So this is the calculation. See, this is my unit 1. On our side, 50% we take for internal, 50% we take for external. Now, in unit 1, hello? And if 70% are scored marks, I have given the value as 3. So 65% marks is being scored. It means that the attainment level is 2. So 70% above, it is 3. 60% above, it is actually 2. And now how to calculate it? So 0.5 into 3. So this is attainment level. Again, uses your 50%. I'm taking as 0.5, and this is 2.5. So I'll be sharing the PPT. So this calculation is very simple. So this is how you are going to calculate for each course outcome. So this is the attainment of course outcome, what you have done. And now this is with the initial matrix that what you have framed. So if you have done with the linguistic variables, your matrix like L, M and S, I think it is very difficult. But now, no, look at this. If I'm going to do with the numerical computations, then these things are going to be very easy for me to compute it. So I will multiply this. For example, I will go with the PO6, my program outcome. So 2.5 into 3 plus 2.5 into 3, I'll multiply, divided by the sum of the weights. So I am getting totally 2.5. So what is your final row is indicating is, it shows that how far this course, this particular algebra and trigonometry has enabled you to achieve your program outcomes. Even if you have 1, it is good. Even if you have 2, it is good. If you have 3, it is very good. So comparatively, you have an analysis like this. Now look at this. I have calculated so much only for one course. Now in one semester, you have so many courses are there. And now for each course teacher, if they are giving the values, then the values, no, what we have is a blank space here. So this will be fulfilled by some of other courses like English, Tamil, or your soft skills or communication skills, because exclusively for outcome-based education, no, we have introduced the soft skills and communication skills as a supporting one for the students to acquire so many skills. Because soft skills are going to play a vital role in problem solving, analytical reasoning, critical thinking, and many other aspects. So I think that when you're going to focus these things, then it will be having a wider implication of it. Now, okay, I have done all those things, but what is the use? Your performance, how far your courses are they? Whether 1 is means attainment level is okay, 2 is moderate, 3 is good. So if your attainment level is not okay, then how can you enhance it? You cannot make a decision with a single semester. You have to go along with that, because the students' potentiality, the environment, the teacher who is handling, and what are the methods you are using it, all those things are going to play a vital role in that. So after a consecutional things, you are going to have an evaluation. You are going to check with the values. So with which values? With these values you will be focusing. So if you're going to feel that these values are going to follow the same pattern, then you can continue the course, or else you can modify this course. Then maybe after your internal assessment, you will be able to find where your student is lagging, in which unit is not performing well, or which unit is performs well. So you can give them an individual counseling. You can call them and tell that, okay, you are good at these things, you are have to improve at these aspects. So these are the way how OBE is supporting you to make you to assess the students as well as your courses as well as your program outcomes as a whole. So I think these are the things I was discussing about your outcome-based education. And I think if you have any queries, you can just give me your questions. So with this, I just move over to the organizers. Hello, sir.
Dear
Hello.
professors, now Q&A session, you please put forward any questions. Any doubts you can tell. Any questions from participants, please?
Hello.
Hello.
Madam, I am Brinda from Commerce Department.
Okay, ma'am.
Good morning to you. It was a very wonderful, nice, authentic, informative session we had today. Thank you so much for all your preparations and presentations in a nice manner. I have one doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
This can we apply OBE depends upon the understanding level of the students. In one class, if we take, we have variety of students with different level of understanding.
Yes, ma'am.
So again, when we compare to city level, it is a
Yeah,
rural
yeah. So what
college.
you're saying is exactly correct, ma'am. I can able to get your question.
Yes,
Actually,
ma'am.
you are having the autonomous status. Am I right?
Yeah.
Ma'am?
Yes,
So that
ma'am.
is the added advantage.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now, no. So these many years, we have the college being functioning, and we
Yes,
know
ma'am.
that what type of students we are getting as an input.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes we get smart students. Sometimes
Yeah.
we get students from a very low
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
But generally, we have a common ratio which follows every year of input. So
Okay.
we can able to tell maximum what type of students we are handling with.
Okay.
So we have exceptional case and we have the extreme cases,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
still we will be able to sort out majority of students are coming from what background.
Yes.
So we will be able to know what level they are. So now it depends on you to what level you are going to take. So it is very simple. Since you are coming from computer science, am I right, ma'am?
Commerce.
Commerce. Okay.
Commerce. Yeah.
So if you're coming from a commerce background, Now you can explain the concept to each level. You can
Yes.
just give them the understanding, or you can give them the remembrance level. You
Mm,
can make them to apply. You can make them to
apply.
analyze. So it purely
Yeah.
depends on your course teacher.
Yes.
Because as I said, OB has a flexibility. Because if you feel that I can take only to this K3 level or K2 level,
Yes.
okay, fine, how can you do it? But how can you do it effectively? Now,
Yes.
NME paper, if you're going to take, I cannot take the NME paper. Maybe if I'm offering a mathematics NME paper, I
Okay.
cannot take it to actually an application level or analyzing level. Not to that extent I can take, because it is difficult for that set of students, because it's
Yes.
only NME paper. So now
Yes.
you are going to design. If he is in a third year, can I take them to the K3 level or not, or K4 level or not? Or
Yes.
if I'm going to have the same paper in the first year, I can
Mm,
have at the basic level. If I'm
mm,
going to place the same paper in the third year, that time I cannot tell that my students cannot understand, because by this time they should be prepared to understand.
prepared to understand.
No,
Yes.
we have
Yes.
to design the teaching method.
Oh,
If you
yes.
feel that the concept is difficult and the student will not able to follow, what
Yes.
type of teaching method I can use so
Yes.
that I can make my student to understand. So that
Understand.
goes very simple. So this is the thing. That's what I'm telling, ma'am. It
Okay.
has to get somewhat from the department as a whole. A
Yes.
department
Yes.
should discuss together, and they
Yes.
should discuss which paper should be placed in which semester, and to
Yeah.
what level the paper can be there. Now the
Okay.
paper what I have given as an example now, I
Yeah.
can say it is a K4 paper because it is going till K4 level.
Yeah.
So I can
Mm,
tell it is a K4 paper because I am taking the students to
yes.
analyze level. And it doesn't mean that the level should follow the units. First unit only for knowledge, second only for understanding. No, no, it is not like that. If you can do it in the other levels, as I was telling mathematics, sir, I
Yes.
cannot give all the formulas or all the definitions in one unit, and I cannot drag the things to the other unit. No, no way it is taking place. In
Yes. Yes.
all the units, we will have formula. In all the units, we'll be solving and applying it. In all the mathematics papers, no, maximum majority, it will be K3 or K4
Yes.
only.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I hope.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay.
Already what we are doing now, we are giving in paper. That's it, I think.
Yeah, that's it. What I'm saying is exactly correct, ma'am.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
doing it as a
Yeah.
teaching process.
Yeah.
Now we are
Yeah.
adding as a documentation.
That's it.
But when we
That's
are
it.
doing as a documentation, we are following some criteria, and we
Okay.
want to know whether the documentation must be perfectly made. That's it.
Yeah. Very good. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Hello.
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 Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I'll ask one question, ma'am. I'm Dr. Manikeshwari from Computer Science Department. You already know that Bloom's taxonomy has been introduced, which is meant for what school education. Actually,
Okay.
initially,
Yes, sir.
now we have introduced in our college. We have introduced in our college. I'm asking you the general question. I think you might have seen in the yesterday that what many of the online courses are going to come in our what universities. Many of the universities they are going to introduce what UGC is going to give about approval for that. Okay.
Okay.
If it
Yes,
is
sir.
going to be implemented, you all may be knowing that when we conduct an examination, the people may see about the answers by using what internet or by using. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
So,
Kindly come again, sir. Once again, the last point alone, kindly come again, sir.
so when we introduce what online examination or something like that,
Okay, sir.
you see the answers from the what internet or from the book. Okay. So when we
Sir,
apply
what you're
what
saying
these
is
levels came,
exactly correct.
that's correct. Not only here, when you take what IITs or what even BITS planning and also what in the foreign countries, they have introduced what open book system only. So when you
Yes,
see
yes,
about your
yes.
questions, it will be that info what analyzing about your question. By analyzing the question only, you can give the what answer. As far as your subject is concerned, mathematics is concerned, you can ask a question from the what exercise side. But if you take about your theory thing, it may be available in your what net or in your what book. So
Sir, what you're saying is, uh,
uh,
sir, that
when you
the key
introduce,
is there, sir.
yes,
Sir, you
tell me, ma'am.
kindly complete it, sir. Kindly complete it.
Okay, right. So when you introduce what these online examinations, can we apply what this Bloom's taxonomy to conduct our what examinations?
Sir, actually, sir, as you said, no, this Bloom's taxonomy has been existing ever since the education system has been there, I can say. Because when you're going to set a question paper, no?
Actually, this has been introduced mainly for what school education. But for the what your college, we are all making the students to be innovative persons either, or what we will be thinking of to make them to get what employment. So we have to make the students to get not only what to get the what understanding of our what subject, but also what we have to analyze it. See, our main aim is we have to make what every student to be an innovative thinker. So if it is about online examination, okay, what you said is correct. You can't ask the question. You can't ask the question. It is available. The answer is available in your workbook. But you have to be a creative thinker to write create some questions. We are not supposed to take the questions from your book. That is not possible if you go for online examination. So can we apply?
What you're telling is actually correct. But I like to give my own opinion on this side, sir. See, as you said that Bloom's taxonomy is for schooling or for college, whatever might be. Generally, when a question paper is set, we have some basics percentage allowed for each level. Whether it is a remembering level, understanding, application, analyzing level, it is there. And as you know for sure that even in Anna University examinations, we have an unexpected questions over there. It is mainly for them to probe on their creativity aspects only. So what they are going to do, we do not know what question they are going to ask. So something we are going to ask it to make them to probe to come up with some answers. And now when you are going to say this online system, as it is a very new going to system of education to everybody of us, they will be also introducing the evaluation process. But the question what is answers are available plenty. There's no other portal. If you just have a click and swipe and touch only. When you swipe, you touch, you get the answers immediately. But whether they are the right answers or not. So the teacher must be able to frame the question properly. That's what I was telling you. When you are able to give the action words for outcomes, you use the same action words as a question also. When you're going to evaluate critically, you think again, you are not going to expect the students to write paragraphs anymore. No more essay type questions. You give a crisp answers, but let the answer be sufficient enough for the question what you're going to put for it. That is what we needed. If you feel that all the universities they are moving to booklets, so what is the need to move to booklets? Not to write stories. Now write the apt answers. What they have asked, you write it. Instead of writing so many things, if they are asking you to critically analyze it, you critically analyze it. If they are asking you to illustrate, you illustrate. You stop with that. Not simply cut, copy, paste will do anymore now. Even you have a bulk of material available. You want to read it out, you want to sort it out, you want to select the lines accordingly. So even that also demands a learning. So no more
That's correct, ma'am. As far as your subject is concerned, I think online exam is so good because what you can ask any mathematical problem. But for the theory papers, it's about a challenging task.
Yes, sir, they can come out instead of giving, they can give their own suggestions, measures, give the bulletin points, instead of narrating much, instead of giving a description, describe, explain, instead of using the same common words, you are going to just give them analytical thinking. You give them a situation. Now, if you are going to, I think you come from a computer science, sir, computer science stream. So now, instead of giving we always had a question like that. You explain so and so commands, explain so and so things like that. So you give a situation and you just ask them what command you can use instead of this. So instead of giving them explain, it will make them to think what to be applied at this place. You give a sequence of programs. You give an intermediate between that. You stop it in between and you ask them to complete the program.
In our subjects, even in our subjects, when we go for what on open book system or something like that, we lost the questions from what practical cases. What's happening
in this, we are expecting nowadays, sir. Now, as you know very well, Python and data analytics, we are having overwhelming responses are there nowadays. So data scientists and all these things are there. Now people are going at the back of this Python, but Python has been a long run existing. No one has stepped into it, but now people are going at the back of Python. Because we are going with the industry 4.4, we have to analyze a lot with the data, forecasting techniques are there. Regression is a basic statistical tool we have been keep on using, but now regression is giving more significance. It is how to deal with R, how to deal with RStudio. We are going more and more with that. So it depends. Though, based on the necessity only, we are going at the things of the exclusive courses are there. So I think depends. It also varying and fluctuates based on the need based only, no sir. So it moves on and on like that.
Yeah, that's
We'll
right.
see how far the system is going to be effective. But whatever we go, we can measure it. So
Yes, sir.
the outcomes, because when you go with the video lectures also, no, they always give the main outcome. You will be what are the outcomes? They are listing out the outcomes and they are checking the outcomes based on some assessment. So without assessment, it's quite not possible for us to do so. But the assessing is also now is a skill. Now a teacher is expected to frame a question not simply as a question but as an assessing tool. So they must take a special care in designing the questions. So we have to
That's
empower now and then.
That's correct. That's correct. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Thanks,
Hello.
Monica, for interaction. Any questions?
Sir, good morning. I am Vignesh.
Please tell me.
I want to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
First of all, let me congratulate Madam that your lecture is outstanding, brilliant, and your explanation is very marvelous. OBE can be stated as outstanding, brilliant explanation. One small doubt is that whenever we are concentrated with the attainment, the student will be passing out on the third year.
Yes.
Then how can we take the attainment and how can we give the performance of the student after he is going out of our college?
No, sir. Now, if you're going to go with this procedures, I hope you can able to have a little bit of little understanding there. See, you are assessing them after completing your each unit. So that's what I'm telling. After each internals, I'm not telling that internal is not only the assessment. See, when you can have so many assessment, that 50% of weightage I'm giving for internal exam. It is not meant that only internal exam is there. You conduct a simple online quiz, you just conduct. You just to get to know whether how they are having an understanding. So how much of interest percent is there? You design an online quiz, send them. You can get their responses. And after completing a unit, in between a unit, you give them a live interaction. You construct a discussion with that. You just allot some time, spare some time and say how far the students are able to do it. But it doesn't mean that simply you are going to talk with them and while away the time. No. You take a particular topic, whichever you can discuss, whichever the students will be able to interact. You make the class in a very different way. And you check how far the students are getting interacted with that. So at each and every level, after completing at each and every stage, you conduct an assessment. Need not be that assessment is to be so much systematic, but simply out of your own choice. Maybe a 10 marks, maybe a 20 marks. How many percentage you are allotting it? So before your internal one itself, you will be able to have an assessment of the students. So I think that you will be having at least 30 contact hours will be there. You'll be having before the internals or during the internals. So it will be enough for you to assess the students. And maybe after the internal one, you can have a concrete proof of your performance of the students with which you can make them to say that you have to improve. Suppose if you feel that you are going to have the internal marks for 50, for example, I'm telling. If a student has got only 40 marks, it doesn't mean that we cannot be satisfied with the 40 marks, but we have to sort out where he has lost the 10 marks. And suppose if a student has scored 10 marks only, what has made them to score 10 marks? Okay, he is able to get at least 10 marks. So in which he is able is good. So in which he has to improve, in which unit, in which type of level he is there. So everything we have to get analyzed. So as a teacher, we should be very clear what questions pertain to what level. We are supposed to prepare a question bank. As a department, when you do it, the work is very simple. So once you do this, then you can say that, okay, if the person is able to answer this question correctly, okay, he is able to understand, fine. See, all the things we have done already, as ma'am was telling, the things we have done already, we are doing it. Nothing so special we are going to take it. But let us make it a little systematic. We will be always focusing on the overall marks. So 40 out of 50, very good. 39 out of 50, okay, good. 25 out of 40, you have to improve. So this is how we give us a general opinion, general view. We never step into unit wise. We never go into our objectives which are hidden in our units. So we are then doing it. So we are focusing only on this. But as you said, the overall evaluation can be done at the end. Overall evaluation can be done only at the end.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, good morning, ma'am. I'm Rama from MCA department.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, and your session is very informative. And my query is, in students' perspective, how they have to make the transition from this normal evaluation method to OBE pattern.
Ma'am, the major role is the teacher himself or herself. Actually, no, we want to tell the students in the introduction classes, when you are going to start the very first class, what I do or I personally feel is, you want to make the students exposed to the outcomes. You want to tell them what they are going to learn from it, and as a result of one unit, what they are going to do with it. Now, if you are going to see, I hope so, I'm not sure that so many spoken tutorial classes have been there in this online period. That is, it is lockdown period. So many online classes are there. So the spoken tutorial IIT Bombay is tying up with so many institutions. So when you are going to see the professional videos, no, they always mention what they are going to teach, and as a result of it, what the outcomes are going to be there. But these things will not be done in the earlier stages. They will be saying that in the video lecture, you will be learning so and so. That's all, they'll complete it. But now, you are telling that you will be able to do it. So whether they will be able to do it, but the assignment in between they are giving us. So as the introductory part, you tell the students that this is a unit. So these are the outcomes you are going to get out of the unit 1. So after the end of the, we will be telling, so commonly we'll tell, so you must be able to solve this problem by this time. You must be able to complete this task. You must be able to explain this method by this time. So you must be able to do such a programming by this time. So we will be telling then and there and give them lot of insights. And then instead of having the normal routine classes, we'll give an interactive classes. Chalk and test method can never be replaced by any other methods. I'm for it. But still, people have to have some change, a hybrid method. So one day you can have an interaction. So one day instead of always we doing the problem, you can prepare a video lecture and you can post in the Google Classroom, and you give some time for the students. Let them come back after some time and let us have a discussion. You need not teach the problem again because you've already taught in the video lecture. Let us go and have a discuss and do the problem. So you can teach one method, or you can give an explanation of one particular procedure. So you can have a number of ways of doing it. So then they will feel that, okay, we are not in the normal procedure. Something is going to be different. So this is what we called as the reverse process of teaching it. So this is how we can make them also feel that they have just stepped into another new style of evaluation, style of education system.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am.
Any more clarifications? Okay. Now the time for formal vote of thanks. Before vote of thanks, one announcement for the professors. My kind appeal all of you, please post your feedback form in the chat box now itself. You can get within 5 minutes the certificates. Now the formal vote of thanks. All the paintings need a finishing touch. Like that, I would like to put a formal vote of to share about the contributions of our HODs, faculty members have been organizing and participating more of webinars. Like that, I have participated in a number of webinars. In one of the webinars, I had an opportunity to listen to the session of today's resource person of our webinar, Dr. Niveda Martin, whose presentation focused her eminent scholarly skills such as dedication, devotion, and determination towards the profession. Impressed me to invite as a resource person of the day. When I approached her over phone, she has given her consent without any second thought. That shows her concern on the students' community as a whole for nation building. Madam, your presentation and innovative ideas to fulfill the attainment level of outcome-based education. On behalf of the management, principal, and my own behalf, we extend a sincere gratitude for you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
My wholehearted thanks to our college president, Dr. B.K. Krishnaraj Vanavaraya, who is a source of inspiration to organize such a webinar. And my sincere thanks to our beloved principal, heads of various departments, and professors, manager, deputy controller, for responding our invitation and participate in this program, and also extending moral support and constant encouragement to conduct this type of webinars. Last but not least, it's my bounden duty to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Kanagaraj and Dr. Neelakandiswari for their technical support. And also my sincere thanks goes to our exam section staff members and computer lab staff members for their technical support. Once again, on behalf of the management and my own behalf, I extend my sincere thanks to you all. Thank you very much. Now the session over. Thank you very much, madam, for
Thank you,
your
sir.
consent and nice presentation.
Okay,
So we
sir.
have
Thank you.
received a more number of positive comments about your presentation, ma'am.
Okay,
It's a
sir.
compliment.
Thank you,
Please,
sir.
Principal, sir.
Welcome, welcome.